Hi, this is Cynthia Ortiz, and these are the Charles Perry Stalker Podcast. It is the 16th of January, 2022, and we do the disclaimer first. Use allegedly. Nobody's been convicted in a court of law yet. We assert all constitutional rights, although we shouldn't have to assert them. We just have them. Mr. Perry seems to be unclear on that. We also assert the but-for standard, but for Mr. Perry's hacking, peeping, stalking, contacting me when I've asked him to please stop contacting me, stop invading my privacy, stop causing hardship, stop causing problems, stop causing drama, stop with the crime. Every time you do, you get caught when you fuck with me because I don't like it, and actually I matter, you don't. And apply the reasonable person standard. What would you do if somebody was stalking you? Stalking, peeping, and hacking, sir, are all crimes. They're crimes in all 50 states. You know what else is? Title 18 of the United States Code, Section 1512 and 1513. And you know what else is? Attempted murder. Assault with a deadly weapon. Premeditated murder of a police officer. Attempted murder of the other. Fraud upon a court after fraud upon a court. It was 6 of them, sir. Fraud upon a court, perjury, suborning perjury. Read, what is it? Vreeland versus U.S. Strom versus U.S. It might be the other way around. Sometimes I get it backwards. Hang on, and I'll see. On this page right here, justiceforsin.com, there's a whole bunch of perjury acts of you go into a court of law and you don't say what the truth is, like, oh, Judge Hanson, please give me an arrest warrant. I'm the victim of a political vendetta and a false police report in another state. But really, the truth is, obstructing that investigation was the goal. And we don't know who at TPD gave the domestic violence offender my police report. But that guy, I've not sought out who that person is, but there are people seeking out who that person is. Not cool. Could have got me killed. And you may have gotten Chief Miller killed. Look, this is about preservation of life, Mr. Powell. I guess my guys tell me that you get recorded a lot. Want to know where's her whereabouts? I need an address. Why? Is anybody coming to Lubbock to pick a fight with you? Sir, I moved twice to get away from your buddy, Mr. Perry, who's pulling up behind my house and watching me in my backyard. In 2011, I texted my friends about it who didn't live in Texas, Mr. Powell. I kept my mouth shut for 4 years. My friend Cheryl Underwood saw him walk into a restaurant looking for me. That has nothing to do with his legislative duties, Mr. Powell. Please give us the evidence of a political vendetta. Where's my blood test, Mr. Powell? You're the DA. You were supposed to preserve that, weren't you? I filed a police report in compliance with a requirement of Oklahoma law. You have to file a police report if you want a stalking order. I'm being stalked still. Every time you guys have a little meeting, we need to get her pulled over. Did you want me pulled over today? I heard you did. I heard some of you guys did what I told you. You do every day. You're recorded doing it every day. Look at her bank account. Does she have any money? Does she have any cash? Does she have any money? Is she going to work today? Can we get her pulled over today? Can we get this? Can we get that? You're recorded and recorded and recorded. Because I have police protection, Mr. Powell. I have that protection because I need it. You're not in that loop. If anybody can't... We don't have leaks. You do. Mr. Perry asked today if Judy Parker was one of those leaks. I don't know. Did you call her and tell her what you're trying to do to me and you think she's leaked to somebody? That's the thing. Here's the thing. Whatever you guys are planning to try to do to hurt me, I've moved twice. I kept my mouth shut for 4 years, Mr. Powell. From 2011 to 2014, I said not a word, except to a few close friends. Most of them didn't live in Texas. Like 1 or 2 lived in Texas, in Lubbock. And they were my close friends. They were with me. They saw Mr. Perry do weird shit. I had to explain that. At first, I lied about it, Mr. Powell, trying to cover his ass. I didn't want to be a scandal. But then it got to where I got sick of lying about it. I told him, somebody's going to see you. I don't like what you're doing. I don't. I don't want to be your error in judgment. I don't want to be your scandal. I have a political consulting career and I have 2 little boys that I'm trying to raise alone. And what I'd like you to do is cut that the fuck out. Go be with your family. Go do your thing. If you're interested in a romance with me, then you're going to have to first get a divorce. You're going to have to first be honest with people. And then we'll talk about it then after that's all done and over with. But don't do this weird shit. Because somebody else is going to see you. And in Lubbock, if something happens at 8 a.m., it's all over town by 8:11 a.m. Within 10 minutes, it's everywhere. Because in Lubbock, what happens is somebody sees something or they're told something, and they call 5 people. And they'll tell all 5 of those people, you can't tell anybody else. I was sworn to secrecy. And those 5 people do the same thing. And the next thing you know, it's all over town. It's Lubbock. It's a very small, nothing happens here, place. So everybody knows about it. Like the harassment email, Mr. Powell, that you guys cooked up when I was in jail, illegally incarcerated. We're going to send her home. We're going to harass the shit out of her. And then when she complains about it, we'll say she's harassing us. Again, I've now moved twice, changed my whole life. Everything I was and built and worked for my entire life, I just stopped and left town and changed everything I was doing to get away from you people. To get away from you people. After I'd already moved twice, then I said something. Because I'm looking at it like I can either end up as a Jerry Springer episode of fucking Scandal, Stupidville, pathetic, let's all get our dirty underwear and let's show the world it. Or, some imaginary romance, soap opera, bullshit, trailer park trash kind of crap. Stuff that is beneath me. Because I'm raised in the home of an elected official where I'm taught you have some class. And please don't let your family problems become everyone else's problems. And then the next thing, or my other option is, do I be a Dateline episode and I'm the next Chandra Levy? Do you understand? I was threatened, Mr. Powell. There's something that occurred that made me have that kind of fear. Somebody said something to me within Mr. Perry's camp that made me scared for my life so bad I moved twice. And the second time I moved, my child came to me, comes home from school. To this day, he will not tell me what happened that made him do this. To this day, he will not tell me. I still don't know. Comes home from school in the Dallas area where we're already left Lubbock. I left 8 years ago. 8 years ago. It's almost been a decade. I've been gone longer than I lived there. I don't give a fuck about Lubbock. Why would I? So, my child comes home from school, comes to me and he goes, where's your phone? Your cell phone. I'm sitting right there. Give it to me. He takes my phone. I go, what are you doing? Takes my phone, puts it under a pillow in the living room on the couch, under one of those couch pillows. Takes me in the bathroom, pulls me in, whispers in my ear about 10 times, get us out of here now. Get us out of here right now. Get us the fuck out of here right now. I looked at him and I go, what happened? I'm not going to tell you. Just get us the fuck out of here right now. I said, I have no money until XYZ day. On that day, we will leave. In the meantime, don't you say a word to anybody about it, that we're going to plan to leave on this day or that day. We're just going to get our shit, put it in the car and go. And he said, okay. I said, you're going to go to school? You're going to act like everything's fine? You're going to act like everything's normal? And all of a sudden, we'll be gone. And he goes, okay. Now, imagine you're 14, 13, I think he was 14 at that time, a 14-year-old kid. And you got to do that. You got to do that. Imagine you're a 15-year-old kid and your mom starts throwing up. She gets back from work and then has to come to you and go, I could die or I could be false arrested for months. He sees me calling his dad, freaking out. He's threatening death or false arrest. I haven't done anything to be arrested for. I came here to get away from all this crap. You're 14 years old, 15 years old, watching this. It's going to traumatize you. Mr. Powell. Don't you care about little kids? Why don't you care about kids? What about John Neely? What about my son? Why would you put families and children through this kind of hell? Traumatizing and traumatizing every fucking day. And 3-4 months later, you get the phone call. He did it. I'm in jail. And you go to school and your mom's mugshots everywhere and you got to explain that to your friends. What if it was your children, Mr. Powell? Mr. Perry, if someone were doing this to Matthew and Jordan, what would you do? You'd have a big press conference and do the drama queen act thing you do. Listen, all I asked you to do is leave me the fuck alone, Mr. Perry. I don't have any romantic feelings for you. You make me want to vomit. You don't kill a police officer and think you're going to get a date with someone who comes from police officers. That's cop family you fucked with. I take that very seriously, Mr. Perry. We backed the blue. I don't know why you wouldn't. You had 3 choices when I said you'd killed Lucky. And you tried to kill Mike and you framed him. And I'm supposed to testify for Mike. And you wouldn't let me. You guys had my electricity cut off. You guys made sure I didn't have any food. And I don't care. You know why? He had it worse. However bad it was for me to take a fucking cold shower for a week and live with flashlights, it was much worse for him. How dare you? You guys want to have somebody pull me over? A police officer? You want a police officer to pull me over and do what? Harass me for you? Lucky complained about that. Someone did. I believe it was Lucky. I'm not told that. And I'm not told, Mr. Perry, I'm going to repeat myself the fuck again. I'm not told who your leaks are. I don't know if it's Judy Parker or not. Don't care either. I don't care. Listen to this. You got, when you go into a court of law, sir, look at that, Mr. Powell. My first claim should have stayed in fucking Tulsa, according to Employers Mutual Benefit versus Bertile Roots. You know how many cops we've had to buy? You know how many judges we've had to buy? Zilch. Nothing. Nada. We're normal. We don't bother anybody. We mind our own fucking business. You come up here, you provoke, you're trying to entrap. That's what the harassment email is, Mr. Powell. We're going to have them harass. Listen, there are 5 of you, Powell. There's you, Josh, Joe Chadwick, David Robertson, and Charles Perry. And my guess is you're not sitting with the other 4 24/7. So it might be that sometimes you're not involved in the crap they do. It might be that. That's possible. You're the one going into court and calling up here and we need her whereabouts. Aren't you? Is that you? So, what do you think you're fucking doing? You have no idea what Dave Robertson does all day. For all you know, he's just hired 5 guys to come fuck with my car. Out at Manford at Lakeshore, he had his employees staying right next to me. Nobody has a key to my car but y'all. You get one with every car I drive. You get a key. You pay the dealer a little something something, and you get my key every fucking time. So yeah, there's no forced entry. And guess what? If somebody else did that, the chances would be higher. There would be, don't you think? Your employees were staying out there, Mr. Robertson. There was a room full of the same powder that was in my trunk. That's not fishy. That's not fishy at all. But even that, I still said, may not be them. It still could be a random guy. And that's possible. But there was no investigation to confirm or rule that out. Kind of like the first police report, Mr. Powell. There was no investigation to confirm or rule out my report. And by law, I had to do that. The thing is what I do a lot of times is file the fucking report, even though I don't have to. Because there's a whole bunch of 40 cops helping me from somewhere else. I don't need to file a police report with Tulsa. I really don't. Or Manford. Unless the law requires it. Because if I'm quoting what you just said, some officer somewhere got that. They have court orders. I don't have to. There's no invasion of your privacy illegally, sir. Or you got a leak. Or you got somebody so appalled at what they're hearing you say you want to do to me that they're just leaking. It's reaping what you sow. You guys, did you go to church today? Did you read the Bible? Be not deceived. Don't sit around and bullshit yourself. God isn't mocked. You're going to reap what you sow. You plant corn, you reap corn. That's how that works. There's karma in all religions. You harass women. You know, go down to the Strip in Las Vegas. Let me tell you something about the Strip. I used to live in Vegas. I loved it there. It's got some things about it that are hard to raise a family, but there's a lot of things that are really cool about Vegas. One thing is it gets you out of your little hole, Jerry Springer Show, Trailer Parkville, whatever, Lubbock, where there's other people that don't know who you are or care. And you walk down the Strip, and there's people from all over the country and all over the world. And they have a whole different, all different backgrounds, all different lines of work, all different religions. When you walk down the Strip, Mr. Powell, Mr. Perry, Mr. Robertson, Mr. Burson, and Chadwick, walk down the Strip and ask anybody if they know who you are or if they give a fuck at all. That's where I've spent most of my life, in that land. Far, far away from, we think we're important and you fucking better too. Well, but who the fuck are you? I moved from Vegas to Lubbock. So imagine my shock at the arrogance I saw in that town. Gosh, outside of this little pond, there's a humongous big ocean full of all kinds of interesting, intelligent people. They don't know who you are. They don't even give a fuck. You need to get off your high horse. There's some really, really awesome, interesting, good people out there. They're not sick. They're not perverted. They don't impose themselves on other people. They don't go into court and lie. And they don't know who you are, and they don't give a fuck. They know they have a family. They're trying to take care of that family they saved all year for a trip to Vegas to go have a few days of fun. Some people gamble, some don't. Some just go to the shows. They came for a concert, Celine Dion or something. So, what's it to you if somebody, who the fuck do you think you are? To come up to Oklahoma and harass me and harass me and harass me and harass me. Mr. Powell, you don't know what Dave does when you're not looking. You don't know what Charles is doing when you're not looking. I wish you would. I really do wish you would have someone babysit that guy. He needs to account for his time. He's in Oklahoma so much, everybody's questioning his residency. You don't need to be up here. If there's not a court proceeding, get the fuck out. We don't have a romance, Mr. Perry. You have an imaginary pretend land. I don't feel it. It's not real for me. I don't care anything about you. You're a job, sir. You're a job. So you call up here and you want Oklahoma. We looked at her money. Looks like she's broke. We thought she was going to work today. We were going to have her pulled over. Is that true? Is that true? That's what I'm hearing from my guys. Harassment by cop. And we did say that, didn't we? We already established that for the record. That in August 2015, after I've completely changed my life, and now I'm a dancer, I walked away from a career that I was meeting with judges. I'm meeting with elected officials. I'm meeting with United States senators and congressmen. I'm meeting with state officials on a daily basis. Governors, on a daily basis. I just walked away from that all of a sudden and went to a strip club, Mr. Powell. You don't do that unless you have to. Right? You don't do that unless you absolutely have to. Don't you think? I mean, go ask your wife how women think. Don't you have a wife or a daughter or a sister or an aunt or someone that you can say, what if this were you? You tell me what you think. If this were you, you're a woman, what would you do? If you had somebody put cameras in your home and invade your privacy. When we quote what you just said, that's your karma. But we have court orders and shit for it, and you don't. All you had to do is leave me the fuck alone. That's it. Costs no money, no time. Leave me the fuck alone. Perry, you're not entitled to a lie. You're not entitled to a cover-up. You're not entitled to me. You're not entitled to hurt me. You're offending people. You're disturbing. You're acting outside the social norm. It is weirdo to put a camera in a woman's home or hack her. It's a serious invasion of my privacy. I feel raped every day. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to hear from you. I don't care what you think. I didn't ask you. What did I ask you to do? Leave me the fuck alone. Stay out of my bank accounts. Stay out of my house. Stay out of my phone. Go fucking live your lives. And then you don't need a cover up. And then you don't need to ask, is it Judy Parker leaking? Or is it Z? Or is it Ty? Or is it Al? Or is it Kim or Desiree? Or all these people, I have no idea who the fuck they are. Is it your family? Is it your kids? Listen, for that to happen, you have to do your little meeting. You guys have a lot of little meetings. You have to do a little meeting. Sit around and talk about, here's how we're going to hurt Cynthia Ortiz on purpose, intentionally, and in the form state of Oklahoma, where she is, because she didn't come over here. I haven't left the state of Oklahoma since I moved here. In 2014, that when Dennis said, get us the fuck out of here. What I did is I waited until I was getting some money. I got the money. That very day, within half an hour, we're packing the car up with whatever we could fit in the car. Headed to Oklahoma. That day. So, I mean, I'm sorry, the day I got paid. There was, which was 2 or 3 days after he had did that. And I said, why did you take the phones into the other room? He goes, they've hot mic'd him. They hot mic'd my phone. What the fuck is that anyway? I know he's hacked it. No, he's cloned it and he's hot mic'd it. So if we say anything in the same room with our phones, they can hear you. We were in Dallas at this time. My kid's telling me this. I go, how do you know that? He goes, YouTube it. Go YouTube it. I'm like, son of a bitch. So my kid's telling me this. 14-year-old child. A minor child in my home is telling me that. My guess is somebody at school told him. My guess is somebody at school said something to him. Probably one of his little friends that Charles went and got. We need you to gaslight this kid. Say this or do that. One of your people that you wanted to use to hurt to get close to us that slipped up. And then that's your leak. That's one of your leaks. Is that right? Is that what happened? I don't know. But to this day, he won't even tell me. All I know is he wanted to leave. So, U.S. versus Strom, U.S. versus Freeland, prohibits concealment of a material fact before court. Nobody bothered to tell Judge Hanson when he signed off. I know Judge Hanson. He's a very nice man. Either he's on your payroll, or he just trusted you. And my guess is it's the second. He just trusted you. He just trusted you. Because Judge Hanson, to the best of my knowledge, was not really in your crowd. Not really part of your little gang of strange. So, when he signed that, he believed that a false police report had been filed, and that it was filed because of a political vendetta related to your job as a public servant, which we laughed at. Wow. He had just gotten elected. I've been in politics all my life. There were people in Lubbock that were really pissed off at you for making me leave town. I had to leave town to get away from your creepy. Twice I moved, Mr. Powell. Picked up everything I had. Everything I built. Everything I worked very, very hard for. And relocated twice before I said a word to anybody but a few close friends. Most of whom didn't even live in Texas. They're not voters. I did not give a shit about Podunk Nobody Charles, who lives in 3%, who represents 3% of the district. I'm sorry, the state of Texas, in a district that is so large, 86% Republican. I did this last night. 86% Republican. You can do entrapment. You can do provocation, coercion, to make me respond to it. That's not harassment. That's not a crime. You're provoking. You're stalking. You're harassing me. If I tell on you, I'm no different than the TikTok girl who said she had to do that to get police to act. That's what she said. I got blown off by the cops. They wouldn't help me. I will tell you that in general, in most jurisdictions, that's the case. Unfortunately, stalking victims get blown off, which is sad, because 75% of femicides first started with stalking. Even if you're not a serial stalker of women or the opposite sex, because men get stalked too. In fact, on the TV show Stalked, a man was stalked. He was a police officer in Texas. His crime, his complaints were blown off, just like mine are in Oklahoma. Mine aren't with other cops, but in Oklahoma they have been until I hit Lucky and Mike and Manford. Then all of a sudden they weren't blown off anymore. So this guy, it's on Stalked, it's on Investigative Discovery, hosted by Dr. Michelle Ward, who's a criminal psychiatrist, and a victim herself. The guy is a police officer in the state of Texas. He's getting stalked. He's complaining. Everybody's blowing it off. Guess what? He got shot 7 times. He almost died. He lived, and his stalker was convicted of attempted murder. You're pathetic. You got to take these things seriously. I could have died from the poison, Mr. Powell. Do you not care about life? Maybe because of what you did to me, and you keep pursuing something against me like I'm doing something wrong. Where's her whereabouts? What's her address? None of your business. Don't worry about it. Leave me alone. None of your business. Maybe you got Chief Miller killed too. Whoever had the ability to do something to stop that, that's not involved in a much bigger need to know. They can't let themselves be known, nor did we have the information beforehand, because believe me, I would have said something. And you know what? Who did have the information? Someone who did have the information was afraid to say anything because y'all said I was crazy. They all said she's crazy. I didn't want to say anything. I was afraid they'd say that about me. I didn't know about the brick being thrown at me either. All of that was about the same time period. A brick is thrown at me, totaled my car. No one said anything to us about that before, or I'd have taken a different road. Same thing with Chief Miller, because y'all ran around slandering me. Oh, she's just nuts. Yeah, but I'm not, you know that. And you may have cost somebody their life, because if we had been tipped off, like we are 98% of everything else, my car wouldn't have had a brick thrown at me, and Chief Miller and Mike Neely wouldn't have gone to Pensacola. They'd be fine. So, how many lives are you costing, Mr. Powell? What if the brick had hit me in the face? What if Dave and his employees did that, and you weren't in that loop? What are you trying to do here, sir? When you conceal a material fact, oh, the guy said too. He goes, they kept getting caught. I didn't think they would. I didn't think they would do it. Either one of them. I didn't want them to say I'm crazy like they do to her. Number one. Number two is they kept getting caught on everything, so I didn't think they would do it. That's 2 attempted murders, probably. Don't you think? I'm sorry. 1 attempted murder. They did murder Chief Miller. And try Mike. When you conceal a material fact, says the courts under U.S. versus Strom and U.S. versus Vreeland, it's an outcome changer. I could have gotten Mike out of jail. He wouldn't be in jail right now, and you know that. Why would you put him through that, Mr. Powell? And then call up here wanting my address and want her. You better pull her over. Pull me over for what? Somebody did take my taillights out. Again, that's not the first time. They did that in Manford, too. My guys call me at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't usually wake up till 3. I worked all night long. Woke up at 3. Never checked my lights. Nobody does. Everybody gets in their car and leaves. My guy goes, check your lights. They had them taken out so that you get pulled over. So I looked, and sure as shit, I had to go to Napa and get a new light. You're doing that again today? Somebody took my lights out again. Which police department, Mr. Perry, did you call? Broken Arrow or Tulsa? Because that's usually the area that I'm in. Broken Arrow or Tulsa. Which one did you call? Because I live close to Broken Arrow. You know that already, though, don't you? You've always known where I live. You got cameras in my house. You just don't know legally. So which police department did you ask to pull me over? Broken Arrow or Tulsa, Mr. Perry? Which one was it? You don't need to have me pulled over. Unless I'm speeding or I'm doing a traffic violation, you don't need to have me pulled over. Guess what? Once in a while, I'll speed if I'm, like, not paying attention to what the speed limit is or what I'm driving. But I've gotten enough tickets in my lifetime that I've pretty much made myself drive the fucking speed limit because I don't like getting tickets. I don't like getting pulled over. No one does. So what does he want me pulled over? What do you want the guy to find out? Huh? What do you want Tulsa police or Broken Arrow police to find out when they pull me over? I don't know. You tell me. You wanted Manford on the 18th to pull me over. What'd you want them to pull me over for, Mr. Perry? I mean, just say it. Let's just be straight up. Let's just be honest. Let's just get direct. Because what you're saying is being recorded all the time anyway. I find out anyway. I'm addressing it now. You want to talk. Let's talk. We're talking now. You going to type shit in my phone? Is Judy Parker a leak? Is it Z? Is it Al? Is it Desiree? Is it Jim? Is it, you know, on and on and on. We're talking now. We don't need to talk. We're talking now. You want to lie. I get it. You've made your point. I said no. I said no. You want to keep me out of court. We all get it. Because I'm an outcome changer. You don't want me in court. But you're violating those perjury laws. Do you understand? It's like I'm talking to 3-year-olds. You know, when you fuck with me, you get told on. You need to, whenever you sit down and have a plan, we need her pulled over. We need to find her whereabouts. Make sure, like I said last night, to put the 10 words after that. And we get caught more than ever in our lives. And we get caught more than ever in our lives. And we get caught more than ever. Make sure you put the whole thing there. Be real about what you're dealing with. Be very real. Don't bullshit yourself. Be not deceived. God isn't mocked. You're going to reap what you sow. You already are. Because when you're peeping and when you're hacking and when you're contacting me after I've told you, don't contact me, don't invade my privacy, get out of my life and leave everybody the fuck alone. That's the law. It's the fucking law. You don't have a choice. Or you can go to jail. Why do you think they're getting these recordings, Mr. Powell? Do you think they're going to have, you know, popcorn and have their friends over and let's listen to Charles and Matt and Josh and Joe and Dave and those guys talk about what they're going to fuck Cindy over on next? She's our girl. You think that's what they're doing with them? It's party, you know, entertainment. Wrong. Nope. They're for court. And I'm not told how they get them. It's not. That's why we don't have leaks and you do. I'm not told that. I don't even want to know. It's for everyone's protection. You got to try it sometime. Protecting life, Mr. Powell, is more important than your need for a lie. You want to entrap, you want to provoke, you want a selective prosecution. You want to do all that shit, don't you? Because you need to cover up and you need to lie just as bad as Charles Perry does, don't you? Golly. There's your shovel. Dig away. Those are the case precedents that says when you intentionally, willfully, you have a duty to disclose the material fact to the deciding body, whether that be a judge or a jury, and it's a pertinent one, and it's enough to change the outcome. Like, I knew Mike was drugged before anyone else said it, and couldn't have killed Lucky Miller. He was slept through the whole thing. That would explain why he doesn't have any memory of events, and why he has not a mark on him. There is no other explanation but that. That you didn't want me to say, so you wouldn't let me testify. And then I did without electricity and warm water and food for a week as my punishment. And the thing that I was thinking the whole time is, this sucks, but Mike has it worse than I do. Mr. Neely's son, John, has it worse than I do. Lisa Neely, his wife, has it worse than I do. She just lost everything she has. Trying to help me. Law enforcement, trying to help me. Cop family, my family, trying to help me. And I met that man I never met Lisa and John. I met Mr. Neely one time for 30 minutes when he took my police report that I only filed because by law I don't have a choice. And if the investigation shows that it is you, first, to get the investigation, Mr. Powell, you got to file a police report with police. I actually had tweeted Tulsa police the first time. I'm getting sick. I'm getting death threatened texts. And they tweeted me back, come in and file a police report. So I'm following their instructions, Mr. Powell. I go in on the 21st, 2016, with my son in January. He's seeing me throw up. If we talk to a police, I want him to tell the police, my mom's coming home and throwing up. Somebody's giving her shit at her work. We didn't get to talk to a cop. We talked to the desk clerk. I fill out the paper. I push it back under the desk there, and she says we're going to put it in the computer. We're going to have it assigned to a detective, and she or he will call you. And you need to come in and bring these texts that you've got here and the video. We got to get the evidence. Then we'll investigate. Okay, sounds good to me. I didn't get that chance. I got arrested and taken back to Lubbock first. And then you didn't preserve my evidence of blood to see what the fuck were they giving me to make me sick. Dave said it's arsenic. What if it wasn't? What if it was something else? We'll never know now, will we? And then you got to link it. How did it get from David to whoever customer he sent in to put it in my drink? Were those also Dynamic Shot employees? Who were those people? And how did they get the drugs? How did Michael get opioids in his system? You think Lucky stuck them in his drink? Nothing was found in his possession. Did Lucky give it? There's only 2 people in that room. Who gave him the opioids, Mr. Powell? Why are you ruining people's lives? And then wanting us subjugated. I don't know if Judy Parker's leaking or not. What I know is, I'm not told that, and I'm sick of repeating myself. I don't want to hear from Charles Perry at all, ever. You don't have my consent to peep or hack. Get the fuck out of my life, weirdo. Don't contact me. I don't like it. I don't want to hear it. What I said for you to do is leave me the fuck alone. Every day for a decade. Leave me the fuck alone, sir. You don't have the right to peep and hack. You don't have the right to force yourself on me. You don't have the right to go by a judge. You don't have the right to go into court of law and lie. You don't have the right to conceal material facts from the deciding body that might change everything. You don't have the right to ruin a life. So guess what we're doing? Ruining yours. Ruining yours. But we do have that right. It's called law enforcement. It's called stopping the bad guy. But actually, we're not ruining your life. You are. You are making the choice to break the law. You, sir, are making the choice to violate the law. Violate people's rights. Violate people's wishes that don't want a fucking thing to do with you and have made absolutely every effort to get away from you and not have a fight to begin with. You're picking the fight. You're picking the fight, Mr. Powell. You're picking the fight, David Robertson. You're picking the fight, Josh Burson. You're picking the fight, Joe Chadwick, Calvin, Charles, all of you. You are picking the fight with me. I moved twice. I changed my entire life to get away from you and not have a fight. Fuck you for this. For what you're putting me through. And the Neelys. And the Millers. And our lives will never be the same. And if even an apology, I'm sorry. Oh my God, that just makes you madder. What we asked you to do is leave us all alone. Leave my family alone. If you think they're tailing on you, then why do you keep talking to them? Because what has to happen is you got to have a little meeting. And then you got to tell them. In order for it to get past you. Right? For that to be a leak. In order for my family, I haven't talked to my family. And I haven't talked to them. And you're complaining that they're leaking to me. To the cops helping me, who then tell me, right? Well, how did they find out to begin with? They found out from you. If you're worried one of your people is leaking or someone you told is leaking, stop fucking don't bug them. Don't bother my family. Don't fucking bother my family. Leave my family alone. Leave everybody else's family the fuck alone. You don't have the right to fuck with us. You don't have the right to hurt people. I don't go to Vegas. Ask everybody you see. Do you know who I am? No. Do you care? I really don't. Get out of my face, Looney Tune. No one cares who the fuck you think you are. No one cares. You're breaking the law. Stop. Because when you fuck with me, you just keep getting caught, Perry. You just get caught. No one's harassing you. You're getting told on it, told on it, told on. Do you know how many people, if I know what you guys say, we got our ear to the ground in a whole lot of places, Mr. Perry. Whole lot of places. Everybody's sick of you, sir. Your conduct is very offensive. We're sick of you. You're an embarrassment. Go work. Go be with your family. Go do things with Jordan and Matthew and their family. Surely they have families now. Go do things with your wife, Jacqueline, but leave me the fuck alone. I can't stand you. Your conduct is deeply offensive. You're operating outside social norm, like a lot. Look at this. I don't need the lie. You need the lie. I don't need a cover-up. You do, Mr. Perry. Look at this. This is what I'm telling my friends. He's creeping up behind my motherfucking house. There's nothing political here. Are you confused? Are you mentally slow? You're confused as to what your legislative duties are? Mr. Powell, you got to file. Here's Cheryl. He came looking for you. I forgot my phone at home. Went and ran errands. Normally, I went to Carino's on Wednesdays with Cheryl. That day, I forgot it was Wednesday. I had errands to run. I had shit I had to do. I left my phone at home. So a stalker who's GPSed your phone should know or should think you're at home unless they got cameras in your house and they saw you leave. You don't have my consent for that, and it's a very creepy crime. Very disgusting crime. If you watch the Jeff Epstein documentary, his friends were extremely upset with him for putting hidden cameras in his own house, not in theirs, in his own house. You have cameras in my motherfucking house against my will, without my consent, and you are to get them off me now. Now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel like it, right now. Turn them off and get them out of here. Get out of my phone and don't contact me again. Every time you do, you get told on and told on and told on. Get away from everything that has anything to do with me. Mr. Powell, you gotta file a police report. I have 40 cops helping me that told me what you just said. Where's her whereabouts? Where does she live? What's her address? Can we get somebody to pull her over? Not unless you have cameras in my house and my phone GPS. Would you know where I am and when I leave? I don't tell anybody that shit. Ever. And you have your little meetings. Is her bank account empty? Does she have any cash? Is she going to work today? Are we getting an officer to pull her over? Can you? What'd they say? What Tulsa police say when you called them and asked them? If you called them and asked them, what'd they say? What'd Broken Arrow say? What'd Bixby say? Do you know? I also live kind of close to Bixby. What'd Bixby say? What'd they say? Do you call them too? Do you call the sheriff's office? What did they say when you asked them to pull me over? OHP. Do you call OHP? Do you want them to pull me over too? You want a harassment by cop? Wow, okay. You got to do this. But see, otherwise I wouldn't do this, Mr. Powell, because there's a bunch of police investigating you that tell me everything you're trying to do to hurt me. Or I wouldn't know all this crap, would I? So the only reason I would file a police report, Mr. Powell, is I have to by law, because that protective order got denied, because I forgot it. Okay? That was happening to me. But see, you didn't know what Dave Robertson and Charles Perry do all day, do ya? You sit there and watch what they do all day with their time? Did you have any idea what I was going through? Or my son Dennis was going through? That we were getting threatened and threatened and threatened and threatened so bad that my kid pulls me in the bathroom, takes our phones and sticks them under a pillow in another room and says, "Get me out of here. Get us out of here now. We're in danger." In Denton, in 2014, before I went public, nobody knew anything yet, Mr. Powell. You better get your facts straight. Get your fucking facts straight, sir. Because you're hurting other people and you don't have that right. You do not have that right. That's the date, the 21st. You threw my ass in jail. There was no police investigation to determine whether it was true or false. Did you tell Judge Hanson the law says you have to file one? Then let it be investigated and then go to court? Because it's a lot easier to prove you need a protective order in court if you've given the police time to investigate. Don't you think, common sense-wise, Mr. Powell? You're upsetting people with your attack on me, Mr. Powell, Mr. Perry, Mr. Burson, Mr. Robertson, Mr. Chadwick. And so what happens is, when you piss everybody off attacking me the way you do, you get told on and told on and told on and told on and told on more than ever in your lives. This is when Tulsa police called me back on the 15th. Just to get the evidence. Just to collect the evidence, Mr. Powell. And you didn't bother. You didn't have any intention of going to court, to trial. You knew there was no crime. She torpedoed my case, you said. I'm told. Didn't have one. There wasn't a crime. This occurred in Oklahoma, where I have the protection, the right to protection and safety. And I also have the right not to be coerced or entrapped. I also have the right to express my opinion. Listen, there were 2 juries with O.J. Simpson. There was a criminal case for O.J. Simpson. They found him not guilty. There was a wrongful death civil suit against O.J. Simpson. They found him guilty. Which jury deserves to go to the funny farm, in your professional medical opinion, Mr. Powell? You ever heard of practicing medicine without a license? You don't get to say shit like that. You don't get to say shit like that. You're not a doctor. You're not a doctor. I can have an opinion. I think you guys all killed Chief Miller. Some of it negligently, some of it by an act of commission. And there's a reason I think that, Mr. Powell. Maybe, just fucking maybe, it had a little something to do with what was going on beforehand. People pulling up, taking pictures of me. Did you know about that, Mr. Powell? Did you bother to even look or ask? Oh, we're so too busy looking for my address. Right? So, TikTok girl that complains about Neil, it's okay for her to complain about being stalked, but not me, selective prosecution, or whatever the fuck. What do you even want to call that? We call it witness tampering. We call it intimidation tactics, is what we call it. You're gonna leave me the fuck alone. Did you see this, Mr. Powell? Not a mark on him. How in the fuck do you beat somebody to death and look like that? How the fuck do you do it? He didn't do it. That's the thing. He didn't do it. He's been in jail for now going on to his 3rd year. This is cop family. This is my family. He was trying to help me. And you did this to him. God help your ass. I promise you, we will get him out. And you 5 little princesses are gonna probably wish you weren't born. And I'm not making that's not a threat to physical harm. There's a thing called beating you off with a legal bat. Legal retribution, criminal charges, maybe. Why are we recording this stuff? You think that these 40 cops helping me are using the recordings of you to throw up as party entertainment? Why do you think they're doing that? Jesus, you guys are something. And then you got, how did she know she was? Look at that. That's from Charles Perry. That's not from Lisa Neely. How did you know Mike had to be coaxed? And who are the other victims? Who else is talking? Yep. You weren't supposed to contact me at all. You knew I'd been subpoenaed. God, RICO violations are like crazy. Like a motherfucker. And yes, Lucky did come to my club, and I'm not going to answer your questions. You can talk to police on the phone, but he did. Him and Mike both did. Mike went to the bathroom. I didn't talk to Mike. He wanted to know if I signed a marriage license, because he had to have forgery, he said, or seen a forgery. I said, fuck no. I won't even call the guy, much less go on a date or have a marriage with him. He's a weirdo. He's a sex weirdo. He's a stalker. He's breaking the law. And then he talked to me about you taking my money. He was sick of it. I'm sick of it. My family's sick of it. Everybody's sick of it. When you do that, you guys start getting told on more. You're just slow. You guys are something else. Slow, mental slows, all of you. So, well, there was more to it than that. There was the one where he complained. Hang on. Just to make sure everybody knows. This is the arrest report of Officer Neely. Again, no injuries. Look at Lucky's injuries. There, it's all highlighted. Mike has nothing. He's got a busted lip and nose from a second event. Afterward. And he's got a swollen red-white right hand and nothing else on the left. Well, guess what? If you beat someone to death, you're going to have major bruising and broken fingers and major cuts. And he has a red, swollen right hand. But he also had an IV in that hand. That's why it's red and swollen. You guys are really fast. I mean, ooh, mental, oh gosh, the intelligence level is just Mind-boggling with y'all. Read that. When you guys call and you want me pulled over, sometimes this is the reaction you get. Like those 2 guys that came into my work. They told us they want us to harass you. Just find a way to arrest her. Just find something. Just make something up. That Texas senator. We told him no. But that doesn't mean he won't find an asshole. He'll do it. He did find an asshole who did it. Look at this, Mr. Powell. What does that say about me getting pulled over and harassed? Taxpayer resources being used to harass a stalking victim who moved twice and didn't say anything until after moving twice to get away from you guys in your little Jerry Springer trailer park trailer park trash world that you live in. And I don't want any part of it. Don't want any part of it. My job, Mr. Powell, was to get Mr. Perry elected so the police could get to him. I did that. It's a lot easier to sting up somebody, especially somebody who's always never in the office. They're always out of town. They could go in and be undercover and say they need their taxes done, or it's a lot easier if they're out, shaking hands and kissing babies, don't you think, Mr. Powell? I thought it was. I thought that was a great idea, personally. Look at this. Read this, Mr. Powell. They wanted us to get her on harassment, they said, and had us getting information on her car, asked us to pull her over all the time, had us checking into allegations that turned up to be nothing, like, well, she's a prostitute. And so the owner at Lakeshore and Laura come over and go, Lucky was over here asking if you're a prostitute. We're like, yeah, no, there's no men coming in and out of her room. I said, you know what? They got people coming up here taking pictures of me all the time. If I was a prostitute, they're looking for something. Believe me, they'd have pictures of it. They all start laughing. Everybody laughed. Everybody thought that was the dumbest thing ever. Wasting our time. They called constantly, took time away from real crime. In fact, what we found is Cynthia keeps to herself, didn't bother anybody, pretty much spent all her time trying to figure out how to get them off of her. She didn't do anything to them at all. It became pretty clear to us fairly quickly they were the ones doing the harassing, not her. If it were up to me, I'd call in a protective order. In fact, we still might do that. And this has been out forever. So you want to call up here, and who'd you ask? Tulsa, Broken Arrow, Bixby, Tulsa County Sheriff's Department? Who'd you ask, Mr. Powell, to pull me over? Who? Did they say yes? Did they say no? What'd they say? I mean, this is ridiculous with this shit. So, again, in closing, this is how the rest of the world sees you. And if it's okay for her to complain about being stalked and put it on the internet when she's being stalked, it's okay for me too, Mr. Powell. You're getting cops killed. That's the problem with you. We're not okay with that. I don't know why you would be. I don't. And there's 5 of you. I promise you, all 5 don't know what each other's doing. You have not a clue. Maybe you should start trying to look.
Leave me alone! Please!
Just talk to me for 2 minutes.
First, let me say that I'm happy that the lady in this video is okay. Second, let me break down what rape culture is. Rape culture is the fact that that man felt that he was entitled to some of this woman's time just because he said, let me talk to you for 2 minutes. It doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes. If she said no, no means no. Rape culture is the comments that she has on her video about how she should have just spoke to him or dressed differently. Rape culture is me taking the heat for calling out other men for their terrible behavior. Rape culture is trying to explain stuff as, oh, it's just locker room talk. No, it's not locker room talk. You should talk the same way wherever you are. We all know that rape is not about sex, it's about power. So for you to force yourself on somebody, even if you're just talking to them, is disgusting, dude.
All you want.
I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone.
Hey men, leave women the fuck alone. When they're in public, when they're doing anything, you don't have the right to their attention. You don't have the right to step into their personal space. You don't have the right to them. Especially if they're making it very clear they don't want to be talked to. But even when they're not, unless a woman is giving you enthusiastic and continuous body language and signs that she wants to talk to your ugly dumb ass, then leave her the fuck alone. Find a date a different way. Okay? It's not clever. It's not...
alone.
All you want.
I don't want proof of this. Please leave me alone.
Hey, men, leave women the fuck alone. When they're in public, when they're doing anything, you don't have the right to their attention. You don't have the right to step into their personal space. You don't have the right to them, especially if they're making it very clear they don't want to be talked to. But even when they're not, unless a woman is giving you enthusiastic and continuous body language and signs that she wants to talk to your ugly dumb ass, then leave her the fuck alone. Find a date a different way. Okay? It's not clever. It's not cool. It's not cute. It's garbage. It's absolute garbage behavior. And you're a garbage person if you do it. I don't care if it's in public. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have the right to her. And you need to leave her alone. And this is bacon.
This is what law enforcement is supposed to do. We are called as lawmen, my granddad said. We had to add women because he's not a woman. He said, as lawmen, we are called to relieve suffering caused by crime. When you break the law, there's typically someone that gets hurt. And those laws are there to protect us from injury, Mr. Perry. I'm not in love with you. You make me want to vomit, and you know that. You have something in your mind that is bizarre, and you're imposing, and you're a burden to everybody, and we're sick of you. And I have said this over and over and over and over. I should have only had to say it one time. I don't know who your leaks are, sir. Don't care either. I don't care. I truly don't care. I've asked you to leave me alone. You don't have my consent to peep, hack, or stalk me. Get the fuck out of my life. You don't have my consent to contact me in any way, shape, or form. And the more you do that, the more you get told on and told on and told on and told on. Because everybody's sick and tired of it. Everybody's sick and tired of the hardship that you impose upon me. I'm sick of it. My family's sick of it. My friends are sick of it. My friends and family, some of them have said, we are tired of them telling us when we can talk to her and what we're allowed to say and not say. Fuck you. Cut that the hell out, David. Do not call my family again. Ever. Don't. None of you. Do not call my family or my friends or my children ever again. Don't call them. Leave them the fuck alone. Follow the law. And then you don't need a cover-up and you don't need to lie. I'm not going to apologize to you. I'm sorry you're stupid. I'm sorry you choose to break the law. I'm sorry now you need a cover-up because you didn't leave me alone years ago before I told people you had a problem. When you chase a woman that doesn't want you, it is outside social norm. It is very offensive and disturbing to other people. That's why in all 50 states, thousands of folks got together and made it a crime. When you hurt other people, normal people that have empathy don't like you. They don't like it, and they don't like you. And if you couldn't tell that by watching what happened with Mr. Chauvin and Mr. Floyd, you really are mentally slow. You guys make all these plans, and you fail to factor in human empathy. Because you don't have it, do you? You're void. You're like sociopathic or something. Psychopaths or something. Look, your mental problems are not going to be my problems anymore. That's why you get told on and told on more than ever in your lives. So when you sit around and you come up with some sick little weird plan, look at my bank account, see if you think I'm going to work today or not. So you can send some cop to pull me over and do what? They don't like that, a lot of them. Or they wouldn't tell me. Those two came and told me at my work in 2015. He wanted us to just find some way to arrest you. And we're like, are you fucking kidding me with this shit? We're not going to do it, but that doesn't mean that he won't find an asshole that will. And then you did. McNamara email, Mr. Perry. You're still trying to do that. Coerce. It is against the law. Cut it the hell out. We don't need the cover-up, you do. We don't need the lie, you need the lie. You're offending people. There's a lot of people that are very upset about what you did to Lucky and Mike. Why wouldn't they be? I did without electricity and warm water and food for a week, but I didn't have near as bad as him. Not near as bad as him. People are upset about what you're doing to them. So you get told on and told on and told on and told, because everybody wants to help anybody in any, if they're going to make him stop, we'll help him. And then we don't have to feel threatened and stressed out and anxious and worried. What if they do that to us? Don't call my fucking family again. Don't do it. Don't call a fucking judge. Don't call my bank. Because guess what? Before I do anything, I tell my guys, here's what I'm going to do. And in a way you don't know. They set everything up so that when you do it, when you fuck with it, you get caught. More than ever in your lives. That's the thing that you need to put after everything you try to do. 10 words. We're going to do XYZ crime against her and cause her XYZ loss. And so add the words always, and we're caught more than ever in our lives. You will never get a date with somebody like me, Perry. You're not even on the radar. You weren't on the radar politically either. You were the new guy. I knew all kinds of people to call if I needed something in Texas. As it turns out, I didn't do legislation in Texas, Mr. Perry. Did you apologize to Hansen for lying to him? Did you apologize to Jim Hansen? He's a nice guy. Does he know now you lied to him? Is he the one that said I didn't know you had it in you to be so cruel? Why are you cruel, Perry? This is the McNamara email, Mr. Powell. It's dated October 29, 2015. My son was 14, 15 years old when y'all did this to me. John Neely is going through worse. When you get up in the morning and you do your little fake prayer to God, or whatever fucking thing it is you serve, keep him in mind that you've ruined his life. He's just a kid. There's a Bible verse that I've quoted. He will not crush the weakest reed or put out a flickering candle. He will bring justice to those who've been wronged. He will not falter or lose heart until justice prevails throughout the earth. Do you know why that scripture is in the Bible twice? Not just once. It's in Isaiah, and again Jesus quotes it. Because he knows that people get discouraged when there's no justice. He will not crush the weakest reed or put out a flickering candle. He will bring justice to those who have been wronged. Because when you get discouraged and your candle is just barely flickering, because you feel like that the bad people are getting away with being bad, and when you do the right thing, the wrong thing happens. And these are children, Mr. Powell. You're fucking with their head. It's psychological trauma and torture to a child to see their dad did the right thing and the wrong thing happened. Perry, shut up. Were you asked? I think you were told don't contact me again. He likes typing in my computer. Get out of my computer. Get out of my phone. Turn your fucking cameras off, you peeping Tom weirdo. And leave me the fuck alone. When you don't, you get told on more. When you cause me a loss, you get told on more. The longer Mike's in jail, you get told on more. So if you don't like getting told on all the time, and you don't like having leaks, it's very difficult to tell. Seems like you love it. You'll never get a date with me. You're not even on the radar. You are a disgust. You're a job. Everybody wants you stopped, sir. Leave me the fuck alone. I didn't ask you what you think. I don't care. You're just like Neil. No one asked him what he thought of her clothes. He wasn't asked. You're Connie Curry. Nobody asked you. Shut up and go away. Leave me alone. Everybody, they're still trying to do this again. Same song, verse 2. And everyone knows it. And everyone's pissed about it. Leave me the fuck alone. You're not entitled to a date. You're not entitled to my time. You're not entitled to invade my privacy. You're not entitled to a cover-up. You're not entitled to anything. Go fucking leave. Go do your thing. Go be normal. And leave me alone. Thank you.